Hello and welcome to Voices of Parenting podcast. I am so glad you're here. My name is Mussi Diskin. I am an advanced nurtured heart approach trainer. I am a parenting coach. I am also an inner wealth coach, which means that I help people rediscover and connect to the people that they truly were all along, but may have gotten forgotten along the way. So to find out more about me and what I offer, you can check out mussidiskin.com, contact me through there, respond to this podcast, find me on social media. I would love to connect and I would love to hear your feedback. To sponsor a Voices of Parenting podcast episode, please reach out to energizinghearts@gmail.com. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Well, Yiska, I would like to start by you introducing yourself to the audience. Tell us who you are and where you're from, and then we're going to get into Yiska's CTI story, which I'm excited for y'all to hear. Being that you all know, or most of you know, that we have a CTI, which is a certification training intensive, a 4-day deep dive immersion into the nurtured heart approach happening in person in Muncie, New York, this November 2024, all women, run by me, which it's the first time that's ever happened. Howard Glasser, the creator of the approach, is always the one who's taught it, and recently he just he decided to open the doors, and he invited a small circle of us peer leaders to take on helping to teach this approach and actually train others. So this is a really, really huge opportunity. It's only been done actually once before by someone in Japan, by a Japanese speaker, because Howard doesn't speak Japanese. So this is a really big deal, and it's really exciting, and I'm really excited to do it. And I want you to come, FYI, all of you who are listening to this. But I want to give you a little window into what the CTI experience is. So that was a very long way of saying hi, Yiska, and tell us who you are.
My name is Yiska. I teach kindergarten at a school in Muncie, and I became a certified trainer, I think, in 2020. So it's been about 4 years. No, maybe 2021, actually, because I'm not up for recertification yet. And we have 4 kids. Our oldest is a 13-year-old girl. We have an 11-year-old boy and twin girls that are 7.
Amazing. Kind of hard. That's twins is a double responsibility and a double gift.
It's very exciting for sure.
Okay, so I would love to maybe start from the beginning. Like, how did you hear about Nurtured Heart? What interested you in it, and what made you pursue it to the level of taking a CTI, a certification training?
So initially, a friend of mine told me about the Nurtured Heart training, and she was very, very enthusiastic about it. And I wasn't like, she was so excited about it, and she kept nudging me to take it. And I was like, not really interested. And finally, she actually was like, you have to take this. I'm going to pay for you to do like the 6-week training. That's how badly she wanted me to do the training. So I did it. It was on Zoom, and it was like a big group of people on Zoom. And I definitely, like, I liked what I was hearing. I liked sort of the premise of parenting with positivity and connecting to our kids from that place of really seeing them and appreciating them. But the truth is that I did not really get it. Like, I think maybe because I was already kind of like, ugh, like I wasn't like so enthusiastic to do it. I wasn't like 100% there. And at the end of the course, like, it was like something nice. I don't know. I tried to do it a little bit with my kids at home, but like it didn't really click. And then I guess like maybe a year later, I was an assistant in a kindergarten classroom, and the teacher was getting married, and she was getting married and moving away. So they hired a teacher to replace her, but this new teacher didn't have tons of teaching experience and kind of ended up more in like a teacher role. And I was recalling my Nurtured Heart course, and I started implementing little pieces that I remembered, and I saw like it was really having a big impact. So I went back and like took out my book and reviewed everything. And then I really started trying to bring it more and more into the classroom. And then I just saw like, wow, this really works. I never wanted to be a teacher because I did not want to be a disciplinarian. But with this, I was like, oh, okay, like I could do this. Like, yes, this is like, I love being an assistant because I could connect to the kids and I could help them. But it was only like the good stuff of working with kids. Um, so once I had this tool, I was like, okay, wow, I could do this. I could be a teacher and feel like it's in line with, like it's positive. And so that's when the summer after that experience, um, that's when I spoke to my husband. I was saying, like, I want to get more into nurture tone. I want to learn it better. I want to integrate it better. Um, and then as we were discussing we kind of settled on that I'm just going to do the CTI. And it is a big commitment. Like, it was a week in the summer. It's a financial commitment. I had to figure out like childcare before camp, after camp. Um, but it was like so worth it. I definitely, what I liked about Nurtured Heart approach, like before doing the CTI, was like the tip of the iceberg of what it's really about. Like, it's so much more than just this tool that you use in the classroom to like get through the day and get what you need to get through. Like, it's so much deeper than that. So I'm infinitely thankful that I did the CTI. It was like, so I think it was so healing for me also because I kind of existed in this place of like seeing that there, like knowing that there's more out there, like knowing that there's a different way to connect to the people around us, and like really struggling with like the negativity and a lot of the judgments that we just automatically have. And um so being in the CTI was so healing because I really saw like, no, there really is this authentic way to connect to each other that's also so positive, and so there's so much validation and so much emotional safety. Like, it really exists in the world. Just knowing that it was out there was, it gave me so, like, such a positive feeling inside.
Oh my gosh, that makes me so emotional. That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing your story. And I had so many things to say all along, but just that last piece you said struck me so deeply because I remember having that same experience at my first CTI, just like being in a room. My first CTI was 150 people in person.
Hmm.
And it was like, I'm just looking around and I'm like, all of these people are committed to being like this, like live like this. They see the good in others. They don't get bogged down by the negativity. They see through it. They see past it. They believe in themselves. They believe in each other. And like, it gave me such a hope and such a permission that this is possible. And it's almost
Yeah.
like, well, I don't know if you relate to this, but walking out of CTI, it was almost like I didn't know really that much more specific answers to specific questions or how I would handle like the specific challenges that I actually came to the CTI with. But I just knew that it was possible to have this. And I was so, it like stroked a fire. I actually like had this fire and this vision since I was little, but you just grow up in the world and you think it's impossible. It's just not possible. But knowing that like I'm not crazy, this is possible. And so what if everyone around me doesn't act like this and I'm going to look like the biggest weirdo on the planet? I believe in this and it's possible and I can do it. And I've seen it be done. Like, and that even in the hardest times, that never left me. That knowing that it's possible,
Mhm.
so I could always reset back to that space. So it is possible. And this is why I'm doing this, because I want our world to know that it's possible. I want us all to have what's really rightfully ours, the relationships, the homes, that relationship with self that's so rich and so beautiful and so deep and so alive. And I don't know if I can bring in some Judaism here. I know I don't have a completely Jewish audience, but like, we talk in Judaism about the Messiah, about redemption, and about the future, that there will be a time where we see the godliness in everything and God in everything, and like seeing a possibility of living with a pathway to reach that godliness, to reach that greatness, to reach that beauty in every single situation, person, thing, circumstance. It's like I get to live with that. I get to experience that. I get to experience the like gift of the love of God. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm
And
going
and
off.
also I
Okay.
think the gift of of connecting to someone else in like a really authentic way. I think that one of the major challenges in our current like larger society is like the lack of authentic connection that we have with each other, because on the, on the one hand we have everything at our fingertips: Zoom, FaceTime, whatever, video chatting, texting, WhatsApp, but it's not that real nurturing authentic connection that we all really need deep down, especially children. And this is like the tool, like when I explain to parents with students in my class, like I say, it's not a behavior management program. It's really it's a relationship tool. This is how to connect to each other in a building, healing way, regardless of, I mean, you could say like people, this piece of godliness that we each have in us, or just the inherent goodness that we each have in us, the natural talents, the natural abilities. And because I work with like such little kids, I feel like everything is very close to the surface. Like their personality, their desires, their intentions, it's all right there. They haven't like become, jaded, or like most of them don't have a chip on their shoulder yet. So that's why I love working with such little kids, because that that connection is like right there. And we just had orientation yesterday. And even then I could just see like the difference between an adult who understands how to talk to a child in a way that they feel like related to, versus whatever the alternative that it just feels different. It feels different to me also. Like I notice a difference when I'm giving energy to negativity. Like it doesn't feel as good of a, like it doesn't, it just feels like ugh inside.
Yeah.
Like that little
Yeah.
girl in the video who's like resetting, like I don't feel like ugh, like ugh,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. That is Sarah Howe's daughter. And
Oh, really?
here's a little plug for CTI. Sarah Howe's gonna be there, guys. So that's exciting. She's gonna be my peer leader. She's gonna be yeah, helping me run the CTI, which is really exciting.
That's so exciting.
I know, the mom of the girl in the video. She actually did a TED talk. Go check her up on YouTube.
Wow,
On Nurtured Heart.
that's
Anyway,
incredible.
yeah, I want to say one more thing, and then I want to lead into more specifics about your story, which is you're talking about like healing and authenticity and the connection. And I think that a lot of where the therapeutic world is coming to today is like creating safety, nervous system, somatic
Mhm.
healing, creating safety so that because within safety we can learn, because within safety we can heal, because within safety we can grow. And in the classroom too, creating safety in the classroom, safety in the classroom. And that's really what I'm hearing you say. And also like just imagining you, seeing you like bending down to those 5-year-olds and like seeing them just an orientation day. That is my experience too, even with a little kid that I'm meeting in a grocery store. There's something about the way that I'm seeing them that feels like safety. And I see their walls come, like you said, there's not like massive castle walls that like take years
Mhm.
to come down. It's just in that moment, they open up to me and feel safe with me. They believe me that I'm safe. They believe me that I see them. And to be seen is something, and to be seen is safety, really. And it's just yes, I'm so grateful that I have this opportunity, Yiska, to like teach this to like the women in the community. And I'm so excited for whoever's going to be there. Okay, so here's the question I want to ask you. I want to ask you if we can kind of unpack a little bit why the CTI, or how the CTI was the thing that brought you to that next level. Like it sounded like, you took the 6 week and then it kind of was whatever, you weren't really into it, but then you went back and looked at the book and you were implementing it and it was working and it was beautiful. But then like Nurtured Heart became something entirely different for you. How did that happen? How did the CTI do that for you? What was it?
I think
Yes.
that was really like, I think one of the goals of the CTI is to really give the participants the experience of being on the receiving end of Nurtured Heart. So like what that looks like is we have like a group class, I guess, and then we break off into little groups, and then you work with I don't know what it's called, the peer leader, or no, I don't know what it's called. You have like a little group leader.
Yeah, an advanced trainer.
An advanced, thank you. Yes, that's right. An advanced trainer. And so the advanced trainer is really like facilitating nurtured heart happening within the group, that we're able to ask questions, but find the inner wealth in our questions, or be able to feel confident, like feel in touch with our like wisdom, our inner wisdom, to even answer our own questions. So it was really that experience of understanding that it goes so much deeper than just giving a recognition, that it's really this process of trusting yourself and trusting the people around you. I think that that was the biggest piece that really deepened my understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. And it was surprising to me, or not surprising, but different than what I expected. You know, I came to the CTI
Mhm.
thinking like, I'm going to come to the CTI. I'm going to learn Nurtured Heart really, really well. I'll know it so well that I'll even be able to teach it. I'll know how to teach it. I'll know what to say. I'll know what to do in every situation. Like I'm going to like this training intensive. I'm going to like boot camp. I'm going to like learn Nurtured Heart. And
Yeah.
instead, I had the most healing, transformative inner experience. I got to find me. I like returned to me in a way that I didn't know was possible. I also maybe didn't really know was missing. And like I integrated. I found myself. You know, another Jewish reference, okay, in Judaism, when we talk about repentance, interesting that, you know, the high holidays are coming up and there's a lot of that going on. But the Hebrew word for that is teshuvah, which means to return. It doesn't mean repentance, it means to return. The root word of teshuvah is return, and the extra letter at the end is the hey, that's the Hebrew letter hey, represents God. And actually it's explained that the idea of repentance is actually the not an idea of like changing or removing. It's the idea of returning to the God, to God, and returning to who we really are, to our God, to the God, to the beauty and knowing, inner knowing and wisdom and soul that we really are under all the layers that we've put on ourselves, all those walls, all those chips on our shoulders and whatever else, you know. And I feel like that was that's I found myself in a way. I found my strength. I found who I was in the world. I walked in not knowing who I was in the world, and not knowing I didn't mean to be a leader in Nurtured Heart. I didn't mean to be a leader in the parenting world. I didn't I We talk about intentions in the beginning of Nurtured Heart, like why am I here? And I remember saying, I was bawling my eyes out. I was like, I just want a relationship with my daughter forever. I don't want to lose her. That's all. And she was like 5, okay? But it was so scary. Her behavior was so scary to me, and my lack of ability to connect with her. And I'm a preschool teacher. I was an amazing preschool teacher. And here's my daughter. Like, I was just like, that's all I want. I don't care. I don't need labels. I don't need professional anything. That's what I want. And like I walked away knowing that I'm this like huge, massive light that has all this purpose in the world, and just without, again, the details, just knowing and getting it. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I guess if there was a mom or a teacher or an educator out there, a therapist, anyone out there who's listening to this, who's kind of like, I don't know that I need like this whole thing, or I don't know that, you know, I don't know if this is for me, or kind of like where you were at that first training where your friend was like, I'm going to pay for you to do this, you know? I guess what would your plug be? What would you say to that? Like, why would you say
Oh,
that this is going to benefit them?
I would say that as a teacher, I see that the kids who are coming in every year are becoming more, and first of all, they're way more exposed to things at a young age than kids were. Even when my daughter, who's 13, when she was this age, most people have internet in their home, and the parents, I think, talk about things in front of their children that maybe a few decades ago those conversations wouldn't have happened in front of kids. Like, for example, after October 7th, there were tons of kids that came into kindergarten. These kids are 4 and 5, who knew many details, like not developmentally appropriate details. Um, so I think kids are coming into school much more complicated. They also do not have, I mean, in Judaism, we call like a yira, like not fear, but this like awe of authority. They don't have that. They don't come in thinking I need to listen to my teacher. They don't come in thinking like I don't want to make trouble. They just don't come in like that anymore. I literally, one of my goals is like modeling and teaching my children, my students about like the concept of authority. What does it mean when we're in school? We can't do whatever we want. We have to follow the rules. Like there are genuinely kids who come in and they're like, "What do you mean I can't climb on the table? Like I want to climb on the table." They just parents I think have gone from, let's say if a generation ago maybe there was more like spanking or potching, there was more like the way that it was a much more sort of cut and dry, like punitive, but like not angry, but just like much more black and white discipline. And I think that we moved away from that and we realized like that might not be the best way because it's not, they don't learn anything from getting spanked, even if it immediately stops a behavior. So I think it left like a vacuum of like, so now what? Okay, now we're going to make a sticker chart and we're going to give prizes and we're going to give rewards, or we ignore, and then we blow up, or we try to do gentle parenting and we say we're gentle, and then we blow up because we're all human beings and everybody needs to be able to set boundaries for themselves, like to be functional, like and feel like not like a doormat. Um, so I feel like Nurtured Heart, that's really where Nurtured Heart comes in as like, okay, this is how you can set boundaries. You can teach your children what you need to see from them. You can have structure in your home or in your classroom, and it's building them up.
I love that answer, Yiska. You blew me away. That was incredible. And I love that you took the time to find the answer in you and find the truth of it and the essence of it. And I relate to that too, that constant. I was a preschool teacher for many years before Nurtured Heart, and that disciplinarian stuff you were talking about, why you wanted to be an assistant. I struggled with that so much because I believed in unconditional love. I believed in positivity. I believed in, kids' goodness. And I had no tools of how to also have decorum. And so it was constantly either like a decorumless classroom that was like getting me in trouble with the other staff and the directors and even like kids. Like kids need structure, but like a refusal to create that structure because I didn't want to do that discipline. I didn't believe in it. And I didn't want to shame the kids. And like I just didn't have the tools, and like having Nurtured Heart opened my mind to like, wow, you can have both. Like what? You can have
What,
everything. You can have your cake
and
and eat it
actually,
too.
what you're saying about what you just said about shaming, that is also, I see, like it drives me bananas. Adults do not realize how much they employ shame as a tactic to get kids to comply. Like it's shocking to me, actually, like how out of touch some adults are with how they speak to children. Like if you would not want the child to speak to you that way, if you would call them speaking to you like that disrespectful, inappropriate, rude, then you should not be speaking to the child that way. We cannot expect children to behave better than we do as the adults who are the models, like the role models. We're the ones setting the tone. Like it is, as you can see, I'm getting very like worked up. It upsets me so much.
I think this is so exciting because having this opportunity.
Just reset myself.
I think you do that. Well, I do this. No, I really, I feel like we don't have the tools to do it otherwise. And I feel like adults that are shaming kids are coming from a place where they really, really believe that it's their responsibility as the adult to make these kids normal, to like get them in
Mhm.
line and like nip it in the bud. And if we don't make this kid normal now, then like, what are we looking at for their future? Like we need to have them know, we need to, and without the tools and our own backgrounds and how we were spoken to, it's just there's no other way but that. That's what we resort to because we don't have
Right.
a better way. And this is like a better way that I have. That actually, there's a documentary out there. You can find it on YouTube under the Nurtured Heart Institute YouTube channel. It's called A Better Way, and it's actually Nurtured Heart being implemented into classrooms. It's a gorgeous documentary. I cry every time I watch it. Like, definitely watch it. But my point here is that yes, that this is an opportunity, the CTI. So I'm going to close up here. Yiska, I love this conversation. I wish we had time for a second episode. God willing, I'm going to get you back on here again. Your wisdom, your pointed answers, your presentness in your answers is just so delightful and yummy and just on point. I'm so excited for everyone to listen to this. MussiDiskin.com/registration. Go check out the CTI, guys. I would love for you to just even consider, dream, play with the idea of joining us in November 2024 in Muncie in person. There is a limited amount of scholarship available, but if you need that, please do sign up for it. There's a limited amount of hospitality that is available, not in the hotel, meaning I don't think it's going to be free, but it's going to be very, 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 I guess, reasonably priced or low, available to you also. Like, don't decide for yourself that this is impossible. Just open your mind to it, and
I
come join us on
definitely
this
think
transformative
like
journey.
when before I did it, when I was talking about it with my husband, the idea of doing the CTI, like I never, like that wasn't even something I would have considered. But as I was speaking to him and I was saying I wanted to maybe get some friends and go over the book together, and then I don't remember, one of us was like, maybe I should just do it. And like when you make the decision, like if you make the decision to do it and then you're like, you figure it out. Like people, I'm not saying it's easy to juggle all those pieces, but it's like this huge investment. I read somewhere we can either be proactive or reactive. Like here is a way to put in a lot of energy proactively as opposed to being reactive and dealing, it can really help deal with things in a building and preventative way.
Yeah, I need to do another episode on that because that idea of proactive and reactive, and also the idea of just like deciding and then letting the pieces fall into place. That's exactly my CTI story, which I'm excited to share with you at some point. And
Yeah.
also just such a huge idea, such a beautiful, huge idea. Like doors open when we close the one behind us and just take that step out, which like feels like we're falling
Yeah.
off a mountain or a
Yes.
cliff. The next door opens. That's just the way
Right.
of the universe and the
I've
way of God.
often seen, and I've often seen exactly what you're talking about, that like there's some people who have an approach of like, well, I can't do anything else because of XYZ. Like I'm stuck with XYZ. And then there are some people out there who are like, okay, like us, who pick up and move across the country because we're not willing to say we're stuck with XYZ. That's a whole other story. But that like it is true that when you sort of set things in motion, like life takes care of things happening. And if you really try and it doesn't work out, like okay, like it wasn't meant to be, and maybe another time it will work out. So
Yeah.
what
Words of
I
wisdom. Thank you. Yeah, we are going to close this episode just because my audience, you're amazing for listening all the way till here, but it's a little longer than our usual episodes. Thank you for sticking with us till the end. Yiska, you're going to be on here again. I don't know when, but you will. Um, Thank you for being here and hope to see you. MussiDiskin.com/registration. Oh, I always want to ask my guest, Yiska, are you available to connect with people who would maybe want to ask you a question? Maybe you can work with them. I don't know. What do you
sure,
offer?
I love talking about Nurtured Heart, so I'm so happy to, and I love getting to know different people and connecting. So
So if they wanted to reach you, what would be the best way?
my email address is Mussi, which is MONSEY, nurturedheart@gmail.com.
Beautiful. So yes, you know how to find Yiska, and we will see her again. That's my promise to you. I'm going to open that door without knowing how. We're going to make it happen. Thank you. Hey, wait, don't go yet. Take a minute to find the beautiful quality that you have, that you appreciate about yourself.